Hey guys, SirVern back here. Hey guys, SirVern back here.
Hey guys, SirVern back here, and today I'm reviewing Ratchet & Clank 2016. I believe this is a remake of the 2002 original game, and this also has a movie tie-in that I own but haven't watched yet. And forgive me, I'm a little sick, so my voice sounds a little rough, but I'm going to go over the same 5 categories I always do. Graphics, performance, gameplay/story, replayability, and then fun factor. Give each category a score from 1 to 10, average it up, and then talk about the game a little bit. So we'll start with graphics. Graphics look really, really good. Not quite as good, of course, as Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart on the PS5. That was the first Ratchet & Clank I'd played, and I was excited to play another because I really enjoyed it. But I think 8.5 is a good score. It's, I don't know what I gave Rift Apart, but it had to have been like a 9, 9.5, maybe even a 10. It looked phenomenal. This looks really good, but some of the cutscenes you can tell are definitely not like as high quality as like Rift Apart. Of course, it's on the PS5, but it looks really, really good. A lot of the effects look good. Enemy models look good. The water looks good. Everything looks great. So 8.5. Performance is a solid 10. Not one issue, not one crash, no stuttering. Everything just looked great, ran great, and man, I wish every game came out and worked like this. So performance is an easy 10. Next category is gameplay/story. So we'll start with the story part of this category. So story's really good. It's got some humor in it, family friendly. Kids could easily play this game. Like my nephew, I bought Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for him because his parents wouldn't let him play, violent shooting games. But this game has like fun guns and stuff, like a pixelator. You shoot and they just pixelate out and then explode. And we'll go ahead and talk about the. I'll get to that. So the story's funny, kind of predictable maybe, but good. Keeps you going. Gives you a reason to keep playing. Not the best story in the world, but I do appreciate the characters. I like the character building with Ratchet and Clank. You get to play a little bit of both in this game, so that's neat. And then now we'll talk about the gameplay. So the guns, I love the gunplay in this game. That is probably the highlight. There's all these different kinds of guns. You can see here I'm hitting with my wrench, but you can also like rocket launchers. There's one that's my favorite weapon, that like pulses and then hits guys all around it. You have a gun that shoots and little enemies come out. Don't let me forget the card. Well, you can't remember, but anyway, the card collection feature is fun in the gameplay, and I'll come back to that. But I love the gunplay in this game. It's it can be challenging at times, so you really have to use a lot of your different weapons. You run out, and you'll have to run out of ammo for one gun, so you'll have to switch and get good and learn how to use. There's probably 15 or more weapons. So there's a bunch of variety and ways to go about taking out the enemies, which I really, really like. You're always getting a new weapon or a new power. So that part's kind of addicting. You can upgrade each weapon to do different things right here at this vendor, and you can fill your health and ammo right here, along with you can see the upgrade pass of each weapon. Each weapon levels up, and then you can upgrade it even more. So that's really cool. And I'll talk about the card collecting. So you can collect all kind of different holo cards and collect like 3 card sets, and there's trophies related to that. Although I don't love that part of the like collecting trophies are not my favorite. It's neat that it's there, and it adds replayability. So I'm glad they added it, but I just don't like trophies associated with it necessarily. Or I don't hate them, but it's just not my favorite. But anyway, I'll get to that in replayability. But the gameplay loop is really fun. You're collecting bolts, you're upgrading weapons, you're fighting enemies, beating enemies in different ways. You can fly, you ride rails, you unlock all these different powers that I won't spoil, but it's really, really cool, and I love the gameplay. So gameplay/story, I'm going to give a 9. Phenomenal. Gameplay carries this category. Story's good, but gameplay is just awesome. So a 9 for that category. Next category is going to be replayability. This one I give a 7.5 because there is a lot of collectibles in the game. To platinum this game, you have to beat it a few times. It unlocks like a challenge mode where I believe you keep all your weapons. And it also has like little competitions, like races in the game. You try to get like the top score. There's a trophy to beat one race under a certain time. And I tried it, I'm not joking you, 20 times, 30 times, and just could not do it. But it's fun, and I appreciate hard trophies like that. I like those trophies more than collectible trophies, just because I don't love looking for, like, there's these golden bolts. I think there's 25 of them, and I found like 11 or 18, something like that. I've got a bunch more. But to platinum this, you almost have to look up a guide, and I'm just not a huge fan of having to do that for a platinum. But it adds to the replayability. So replayability gets a 7.5 because this game probably took me 15 hours to beat. I did a lot of the extras and upgrades and bonus objectives. I did a lot of that stuff. So I got a lot of time out of this game, and you'd have to go back and beat it again. So it's a respectable for a single player game. It has a lot of replayability, so 7.5. Fun factor is the last category, and I give this an 8.5. I had a really good time with this game. Some people might argue this is maybe too long, but it's challenging. It took me a while to beat it just because I started 2 jobs at one time. Long story, but I've been working a whole lot. But I really enjoyed this game. Like at the very end, I'm like, am I getting close? That kind of thing. But I didn't like get tired of it, But I can see that argument. But fun factor, I'll give an 8.5. Had a good time, but I don't love looking for collectibles. What are some negatives? Some like of the flying levels, like maybe it looks like you can get somewhere, but you can't. You'll die, and your guy will just like fall, but it doesn't look like you should die. So it can be kind of wonky in that regard. So some of the level design is could be improved, I think. And then some stuff may be a little unfair, like the racing. I don't know if they're just anyway, like those times are insanely hard. I wonder, like I'd have to watch somebody like speed run it, or maybe I'm just trash, but I could not beat it. But anyway, it's a great game. Oh, I'm gonna cough. But just to recap, graphics 8.5, performance a 10, gameplay/story a 9, replayability a 7.5, fun factor an 8.5. That averages out to an 8.7, which is great. One thing I didn't mention is it's interesting the way the story is told, and here's one of those races I was talking about. But and I said that wasn't fair. It's fair. I'm just trash. But anyway, the way the story is told is really neat. It's like a narrator. One of the characters, I won't spoil anything, but one of the characters like narrates the game as you play it, which is really neat and adds some humor to it. I like the humor in this game. Some of the bosses are really tough. Like one of the bosses took me 2 or 3 times to figure out how to beat him. So I do like the boss battles are challenging. I don't like a game that I can just breeze through. Although this does have a difficulty setting, and I don't think it requires you to play it under a hard difficulty setting, but I'm not sure about that. And then I just want to mention the weapons one more time. The weapons are like the highlight in Ratchet and Clank games so far, the 2 I've played. They're so unique and fun, and like one weapon, you turn people into sheep. It's just funny, cutesy, and just I really enjoyed this game. I think it's a good game, especially for kids, but for adults too. And it's close to looking like a Pixar movie. These games just look really, really good. Even this is a PS4 game, which is surprising. But that's all I got about Ratchet and Clank. I can't wait to watch the movie and play more Ratchet and Clank games. I can't wait to. I'm probably going to end up playing the whole series. But that's all I got. So I run out.